time is it?
Pasa pasa,
Time.
pasa pasa.
Time. Every girl, every girl, every girl, every girl. I go me a
Pasa pasa.
stop, girl, why not? Drink and feel happy. Drink and rave till the morning light, my girl. Center, 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 center. Have a drop stand.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing today? RPP, and we are back. We just want to tell you thank you. I know every week we come on here, we all tell you guys thank you for just always sticking with us, always checking us out, sharing, liking, subscribing, all that you're doing. We just want to tell you thank you and encourage you to keep sharing, keep liking, and tell your friend, which is sharing. Yeah. Anyways, for our online listeners, we just want to say hi. So again, this is Sophia, Shar,
Hey guys.
Misha,
Hey.
and Carrie.
Hey y'all.
Now that's taken care of. But today we're going to just do something light and easy. We just want to come to you guys and just ask each other some questions as females. Just talk, chill a little, talk to each other, and just get a little bit more feel as female the things that we go through, questions that we wish people would want to know about us or ask us or just stuff like that. So we're just going to ask a few questions. We're going to answer them as honestly as possible. And we hope that you can find time with your girlfriends to talk about these questions as well. Okay.
We should have
So
brought
without
a drink.
any further ado,
Right?
want a drink?
Yeah, we should have brought a drink.
Oh.
Why
Well, I
not?
do have my
water.
drink.
Does
I
that count?
do.
What
You
is
know,
that?
What do you have, my dear?
What?
I have my water. Does that count? No?
Oh God.
Wait, but what do you have, Kara?
some white wine I got up in the Finger Lakes.
That's right.
Good.
What is happening?
That
I
is
am
just
not
for the
prepared.
YouTube crowd.
Oh gosh.
Because that
Listen,
is
man.
gangsta. Anyway.
Carrie, I'm not even mad at you, but
For real. I want to go get
I
my
was
wine.
sick.
I'm
I
wondering which
was-
one you had. I haven't opened mine yet.
Oh,
It's been
dear.
a week.
Oh dear.
Oh shoot.
And it's just Thursday.
Listen, one more day. You can do it. We can do it.
Praise him.
I just hope I'll make it through, but we can do it. We can do it. All right, ladies, are you ready for your questions?
I hope
Yup.
so.
You hope so.
I do.
You'll be fine. So in no particular order, here we go. When have you felt the most challenged? So think about your life. When have you felt the most challenged in your life? Let's start with Misha, because I'm looking right at her.
Jesus, Father. You remember when we were doing the questions and I started with Char and Char was like, I knew it. That was me. I was like, look how Sofa called me. When was I most challenged? Probably just in life in general.
Life in general, whether it be
Um,
work,
Most
life.
challenged probably when I transitioned from Jersey to Houston.
agudo. Me tell her no go.
In other news, it is freezing in Jersey and it's 75 degrees here. So I'm okay, I think. I think I'm okay.
Until the storms come. Keep it up.
Oh.
Right? Who are we checking in on hurricane
First of all,
season?
there are storms
Exactly.
everywhere. Y'all just had a storm too. It's not we alone have storms. It just is what it is. Take your storms as you get it. So
I guess.
I will take mine as
That's
I
all.
prefer that. I
Do
prefer
you like to talk a little bit of explain a little more why was it so bad for you?
I think because it was the first time that I was kind of by myself. I moved here for the support, and in the first probably couple of weeks, it didn't feel like it. And also Trey didn't come with me, so it was just me and Z, and you know, it all felt very new, very weird, very hard. We talked about financially how I still had a life in Jersey with the finances and still was trying to make it here all the time at the same time. So the transition period was a struggle. And probably the most challenging? I mean, I've done quite a few transitions in my life, but doing it with kids, because I mean, doing it by myself is one thing, but doing it with kids is a whole different thing, because then I got to think about them. Like, is he okay? Am I doing the right thing for him? Is she okay with just me? Did we make the right choice? And just trying to figure all that out was fun.
Fair,
Mm,
that's a good one. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Carrie, what about you?
My most challenged time in life is navigating my relationship with my brother. My brother is we have what, a 16-year difference, and so I think it's been, as he gets older and he hit the teenage years, it was very rough. Because of the age difference, there's almost like a motherly role that I take on, but also a sibling role, and
I
it's
feel you with that.
challenging, right? To
Mhm.
set boundaries, but also not. And
Ooh,
that was a challenge. That was a
Feel you with that
challenge.
one.
Yeah.
That's
Younger
a lot.
siblings
Ooh,
can be a
child.
lot.
especially when they're separated by age like that, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
my goodness, I mean, a whole you could be his whole mother, like literally. There are people who have kids at 16, so
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think the layer to it too is you're older, so it's almost like you're co-parenting with a single parent, but you understand them as a sibling because you've been there. So it's
right.
like you have to ride both sides of that because you want to set boundaries, you want to set a good example, right? You want them to get the lesson, but you also don't want to come down too hard because you knew what it was like being that
Mhm.
age
Mhm.
and not feel like anyone understood you. So it's
Carrie, I understand you very well, being that my younger brother just 18 years
mhm,
difference. And let me tell you, and it's hard
yeah,
too because you want to be their cool sister,
mhm, yeah,
but at the same time, because you've been there, done that, you see the stupidity, you're like, no, like don't do it.
mhm,
And they're quick to remind you you're not their mother, but in your mind, you're like, oh, I could be your mother.
right,
Like I
yep.
could. So I get it. What about you, Shar?
Um, so I would say, so I thought of one thing first, and then as Misha and Kerry were talking, I thought of something else. So I always think of my doctoral study because it was so stressful for me. And I think it's because I was when you get to I'm a good student. That's what I think. So I was good at classes and showing up and doing work. But when it came to when it came to dissertation and having to do my own research and kind of being
Mhm.
out there and then having people judge it,
Mm,
then it
Mhm,
kind of gets to the point of your life when you're kind of wondering, now it's like on show, on display, your thoughts and what you think your best ideas are. And then people's sole purpose in life, these well educated, been this for 20 odd years, purpose in life is to read this, find holes, and show
mhm,
you just how much your work doesn't, like just how many holes there are and how much you need to fix it to the standard that they can't define because it's your work. So they're going to say, this is not sufficient. But then you have to find out what's sufficient, like you just keep trying. And so that I think is very hard.
mm,
And so when I was doing it, I mean, I knew my classmates had similar issues, but we didn't talk so much. I probably only had one or two that, we really talked about it. But at some point, because we're doing different work and they can't help me, that is the only time in life I've ever been so nervous when I was presenting something. It was only my dissertation. When I had to do, like, there's a symposium you have to do for your department, and there's like your defense and all that stuff. Literal body calm down.
how
I
long was your
I hear
defense?
people talk about it, but I'm like, what? Literal. Never
mm,
experienced that in my life. And as evidence that it's like a thing. Do you guys remember when we were in Puerto Rico and my classmate called me freaking out. She was breaking down on the phone. Like, it's a thing. It's like made to break you down. So it always feels like trauma to me.
I feel sure. I remember when my sister finished her defending her thesis, whatever you guys call it. I remember it was like she lost 50 pounds. It was like, oh my
I
God,
was so mauled.
did
I was
that.
so vexed when I put on back the weight.
Go do our next PhD.
Okay.
Never.
But I can honestly say my most challenged moment was literally one day. And that's when I had to leave the hospital and leave Elizabeth there. I kid you not. I don't know how they got me out of that hospital. I don't think I walked out. I think I maybe like levitated out of the hospital because it wasn't my legs didn't carry me because they were like, ma'am, you gotta go. And I'm like, no, I'm not leaving. Like, ma'am, no, but
That
you
is
really have to
hilarious.
go. And I'm like, no. I think that one day, if I really have to pick a day, was the absolute worst, um, most challenging day of my entire life. But okay, good answers, guys. Let's move on to question number 2.
Oh, mercy. How much was though?
I'm going to start with Carrie on this one.
Yes.
No,
What
you
is
know,
one
not with
thing,
me.
Carrie? What is one thing you wish you had known before beginning your career?
I like that one. One thing I wish I had known. Honestly, man. So, full transparency, the thing I wish I would have known earlier on is that you can make money traveling the world. You can make a career of traveling the world. I feel like if I had known that and I don't want to say known, but accepted that as an actual career choice, I would be doing something different with my life. That being said, I love my work, love the career I'm in, but had I known and accepted that sooner, I feel like I'd be doing something totally different. Not to say that I still can't do those things at a different version of myself later in life. But yeah, I think that's the one thing. There's a ton of things I wish I had, known sooner, but I think you learn the things you're supposed to learn as you go in your career if you're paying attention. So
True, very true. What about you, Mish?
One thing I wish I had known in my career
earlier.
Before beginning your career.
What career I wanted to do. I don't know if that's a thing, but I mean, I've transitioned, I guess, kind of mastering some things, but transitioned through a bunch of things. And I kind of wish I had known and stuck to my passion instead of letting things fall into place as they come. So I think that's one of the things that I say that I am going to try and figure out for my kids. Not to say that my parents weren't good at that, because if I said I wanted to jump out of planes for a living, that they probably would have been like, okay, let's try and find somebody who jumps out of planes to help you. But I think I didn't know, and I think I probably still, I kind of know what my passion is right now, actually. But that is many, many years, many, many jobs later. So I kind of wish I was able to explore that earlier in my career, and know how to do that earlier in my career so that I can pinpoint it. Because I don't know, jumping around, yes, it exposes you. And yes, I am a generalist, as in I know how to do a lot of crap, but there are a lot of people who are specialists who are in their passion, making that money and doing what they do. And you see them all the time. This person's 30 years old and they're 30 on the 30 and they found their passion and they're making it work. And I'm like, at 30, I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that looks like. And that's okay. You don't have to find your passion before 30. I'm not trying to say that, but I kind of wish that I had realized that it was okay to try and find it instead of saying, let me just settle, figure things out, let it play out, and then trying to figure it out later. I don't know
Mm.
if that's the kind of answer you're looking for, but that's the only thing I
Yeah,
can think of.
that was a fair answer. That was a good one. What about you, Shar?
Yeah.
Actually, what's your passion, Misha?
Oh,
You know,
that's
I
a
want to
great
ask her
question.
that question too. I was gonna
Yeah, when she
ask
was talking,
her,
I was like
Shar.
all into it. I was like, wait, did she
She was like, she knows what it is. I was like,
she
oh,
knows
I'm
her passion?
pretty
I'm like, what
I'm
is
gonna
sure.
come
it?
back to that one.
So I'm pretty sure that my passion is helping other people. And it's also sports. So combining the two,
Mm.
yeah, like in our family, we have a little circle because, we'll brainstorm ideas. And then, for example, I'll say to my father, why don't you do this? And he's like, because what I'm doing here falls into the little gap. I don't know what it's called, but so you have the circle, the things you're good at, the things you're passionate about, the thing that makes you money. And
Mhm.
he's like, this falls in the middle.
Of the
And
Venn diagram.
right,
Venn
of the Venn
diagram.
diagram. So it's trying to find all of that, because you can find your passion, but it makes no money. Are you going to be happy?
Mm.
Listen,
Right. Are you
I'm
going to
living that life.
be happy?
Okay.
Or you can,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to find points that intersect. And I think that
Mm.
I was trying to make sure that I was making a living, still saying, okay, if I stumble upon my passion, that's great. But what's most important is that I can feed myself. I could try to take care of my parents at some point. That became priority. And I think that earlier in my career, if I had figured out that I just need to find the intersection of the Venn diagram, then that would be what I needed. But yeah, so I think I am narrowing it down. I think as I explore more things that I'm passionate about outside of what I'm doing to make money, then, or even what I'm good at, because I feel like I know what I'm good at. And I feel like I probably know how to make money. But it's trying to intersect them all. So
Back
that
to
was
you,
such a
Shar.
long answer.
You still need that answer? I for the career that I'm in, I wish I had started earlier. That's it. But like Misha, it took me a while, and to be honest, I sometimes it's hard for me to say that because I took this journey to where I am, so it brought me here. I'm not sure if any other journey would have brought me here, but it would have been beneficial for me to be younger right now. In any case, only because my job is like a 24/7 type of job, but you find a way not to do it 24/7. And so when you're younger, you can make lots of strides because you're living that don't care life. But now I need balance in my life, and I have to, some things just can't be 24/7 because there are other competing interests. And so that's what it is. So yeah. So for someone who's pretty young in their career, it would be nice if I were younger. But
so funny because I don't see you as being young in your career. I feel like as long as I've known you, you've been.
That's the worst part of it. So when you have a terminal degree, you only are as old as your degree. And so I have over
What
a
is
decade.
A terminal degree?
So like a doctorate.
Doctorate.
Your own, yeah. So I'm junior because I'm only 3 years out of my doctorate. Meanwhile, I've worked in the field in public health for let's not age me, but honestly, like decades, for a long time, since 2005.
That's crazy.
So, but yeah, it is what it is.
That's crazy.
That's why I don't know why people I do get why people do it, but I don't.
If you were to ask me, what is that one thing I
That
knew
that
before?
requires anybody who has a doctorate. I feel if they're honest, they know that there's a lot of there. You have to have ego. It's ego part of it, because you're trying to earn the right to stick to a body of knowledge, and you're trying to state that you are expert in this thing, and so you're researching this thing and you're becoming more and more an expert in this, so you can speak on this thing or you can teach on this thing, right? And the ego goes in many ways. There's nice ego, and if you're ever exposed to people in academia and research, there's ego, right? So
Yeah.
but it's, trust me, there's always a little bit of, like, you want to state your claim, you have to be that way. All we do is judge each other, whether it's
Oh my
grants,
gosh.
Wow.
papers,
Oh my gosh.
presentation. It's all like, does this meet up to standard? Is this rigorous enough? Does this make sense? Is it valid? Should it be included in a body of knowledge? Should we use it to make decisions? Every day someone's judging your work, all
Wow.
the time, or you're judging someone else's work, right?
It's that doctoral degree that makes you guys always looking up at your noses at people like, oh, what did she
Or
just
some
say?
people, no,
Oh.
the ego, the ego comes in different ways. There's definitely that maladaptive, dangerous kind of ego for sure. But then they're wonderful people. This is why, yeah. But anyway,
I know
I don't
this
want to
lady
break.
and
I'm like, but this is why I'm looking forward to talking about our upcoming topics. Excited to talk about.
if I had to pick that one thing I wish I knew, I've always loved education. My mom would tell you that as a child growing up, I've always wanted to be a teacher. Then I came to America and I attended school for the first, then I changed my mind. I was like, forget it. These kids, not happening, not happening, not happening. But as you can see, I went right back to my first love. But it's one thing I can guarantee you that had I known, I would have walked away for sure, is not every parent truly wants their child to learn. And I learned that the hard way. There's some parents who really do not want their kid to learn. They actually want their child to fail, because when their child fails, it gives them money in their pocket. And that was very hard for me as the time as just a teacher. Now as a parent, it's just something that it's a pill that I don't want to swallow. It's very hard to even understand how you as a parent um, would purposefully sabotage your child's education. So that's something I wish I know, because had I known that, I think I would have walked away from education, honestly.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't know, because we as a parent need people like you in the system.
Girl,
I mean, if you go into it thinking you can save every child and every child is going to succeed, I'm telling you, both my parents are educators. As long as I've known myself, I said I couldn't do it, because they leave their heart out there every single time. And not I. But it requires a special type of person to do that. And everybody's not in it for the right reasons. Everybody's not leaving their heart out there. So when you come across the people who are willing to do it and put in the work, I am grateful for it. Those are the people who should be getting, I almost said PhD money and then realized that PhD people don't make PhD money.
I was about to say, what are you talking about? Let me just tell you something.
Like,
everybody with a PhD would make more money if they were in private sector. Just FYI.
Very true.
Yeah, very true. Said
my
PhD
students
money
with their masters and make more.
Very true. Very true.
I already know.
Another thing, I mean, like it's very complicated why you end up with these parents like that. But I think I feel like they are blessed for having a teacher like you, because if they literally have a parent for whatever reason don't have the capacity to even care, and just trying to collect checks on their failure, I feel like teachers, like the amount of stories I have heard, like when I talk to I used to TA when I was in grad school, and I used to teach in like a lot of pipeline programs. And when you hear about the impact that teachers can have on people's lives, it's like the students almost need you.
Yeah.
So, girl,
I have to share this one story. She's not among the first group of kids that I've taught, but I will not forget her. She's just like, just, I don't know what the word is. One of my students, not the other day, but a couple years ago, a client of mine, because for those who don't know, I braid as well, and a client of mine recommended this other person to come and get their hair done. And as the person was walking up my steps, I was like, oh my God, she was one of my old students. And as I was braiding her hair and we were talking, I would say to her, what are you doing with yourself? And she was like, Miss Terrell, because at that time I was so Terrell. She's like, Miss Terrell, I am a nurse and I'm in grad school. And she's like going through all these things. But listen, it's not the fact that she's a nurse that made me super happy and just so proud of myself. It's, had you known her, which was in my class, I was like,
You just
man, if I can
believed.
reach you, I was like, if I can reach you, then Heavenly Father, I'm still in communication, okay? Because this is a kid that,
like, give him a check.
listen, I was just like, listen, in 10 years, you're gonna have about 10 kids with 10 different baby daddy. And I don't know what else to do with you. But I never stopped trying because I knew she was smart. Like I knew she was smart, and I kept saying to her, you can be so much more. If you just tap into your potential, you can be so much more. And to hear her say to me, Miss Terrell, those words, you can be so much more if you just tap into your potential, is what truly stuck with her after my class, after high school, into college, and now into a grad school program. I'm like, just, so now I'm like saying, all my kids, you can be so much more.
You're so silly.
Sophie, you used to teach. Did you used to teach fake students? Because I used to teach fake students when I was younger.
When you were little?
Yes, we used to have class on the stairs, and I used to teach. Mom said you were passionate about this.
Oh yeah. I used to stand and you know, you like your bed in Jamaica. I used to push the bed down and stand behind the bed. There's nobody there except the dog looking at me. Or from outside, of course, you know, Jamaica ain't dog, no dog allowed in your house. And I'm like, you're not listening. My mother always said, your kids are gonna have a problem with you because all you do is correct them. When do you teach them?
This class is on discipline.
You're always correcting your kids.
Poor kids.
Poor kids. But listen, it paid off because now it's one thing Sophia don't have, but it's behavioral problems in her class. So
true.
All those years of practicing. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, guys, let's move on. What makes you feel inspired? Think about, just in general. What makes you feel inspired? Shar.
Okay. I am just like a born hopeful person. So I am just inspired. I'm honestly inspired when I think of like newness. And so I'm inspired by the fact that yes, today sucked, or yes, but tomorrow's a new day. I'm literally that person. I am that annoying person who has bad days, but in my brain, I am well aware, and it's proven time and time again, that tomorrow, as long as there is time, there is hope, or there's ability to change. So nothing is stuck. Nothing is set in stone. Everything, you can always work on something tomorrow. So, and that's something I did have to teach myself when I was feeling stuck. And a lot of times I have proved it time and time again. I'll feel stuck in something, can't figure something out. It's frustrating. Like you cannot see a way. Sleep on that bad boy. And try again the next morning. Have a new perspective, take it off your mind, go read a book, relax yourself, let it go for a little bit, come back to it. And your brain is just that beautiful. It just keeps working for you, So that's my thing. As long as I have time, then nothing is a full stop.
I need to, and you need to teach me that art because I haven't learned it yet. But, what about you, Carrie? What makes you feel inspired?
Sean, that was good. I think that's that is important, to look at every new day as a new opportunity. What makes me feel inspired? I will say, I look back at my own life story and I'm inspired by that. I'm inspired by my mom and her role in my life story. Because I think it is a reminder of all the things that you thought was going to kill you didn't kill you, and you're still here. And I think that is really, really, I feel more connected to that than I feel like I've ever been before, because I feel like now I have to be quiet and I have to be home and I can't be, moving around as much. But I feel like my story is, yeah, to be here to tell that tale, I think is wow. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, for real.
I think for me, it's a little bit of what Shar said. Mine is kind of twofold. I think I'm inspired by the possibility of the end result. So hope, as kind of what Shar said, tomorrow is a new day, but even more long term than that. So I need to do this because what needs to happen in the future. But I'm also kind of inspired by other people's long term happenings. So I look at, like, for example, my grandmother and say, she did it, she went through this process, she's able to do it, you can do it too. That kind of inspires me, is other people going through the struggle and being able to do it. But yeah, so other people going through the struggle and being able to see that they've made it through it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a word, Misha. Because a lot of times it's just like, you're like, listen, are you gonna be the first person to do this? No. Okay, well that means people do it. So
Right.
it's a thing.
Yep.
That is true, guys. It's so funny that you all said that, because I think mine is a combination of what you all just said. I remember when I was back in my first real trauma happened when I broke my leg in Jamaica, and I really thought that was it. I thought there's no way I'm gonna recover from that. Like hot girl Sophie in a cast on her leg, like. How do you recover from that?
Girl, I cannot.
No, but you have to understand this. I broke my leg during my birthday month, So like, how am I going to walk out in a cast? First, me can't walk.
All the things we think about.
Right? You understand? This was real back then.
This was in the height of our hotness.
Girl, so if I go hop out. Oh.
Okay. But Sharifa, but you're right, because guess what? That's exactly what happened. I hopped out.
No,
if you know my birthday is, to those who do not know, it's a few days from Christmas. So I'm hopping out on my birthday and I'm hopping out at Christmas, and I realized even with my cast, I still had it. So I spent the whole time worrying. And I mean, I'm a worrier. If you know Sophia, I'm a worrier. And I was worrying, like, how am I going to pull it off? Listen, guys, back then, in the country, you don't have much going for you, okay? So when you're considered to be a hot girl, that was like a big thing, all right? People don't judge me. Only don't judge me, all right? I'm not just going for me back then.
Oh, gosh.
Legit, I spent a lot of time from the day I got the cat, from the day I found out my leg was broken, to my birthday. When I tell you, sleepless nights, traumatized, how am I going to pull it off? And then my birthday came and went, and I'm like, wait, I'm going to understand, like, it happened.
That's
it's
right.
Like,
Yeah.
Is that thing?
What I spend all that time worrying for? But we're like, we find ourselves going back to the same place over and over again. But Carrie said it. When I look back on the things that I've been through, and I look at myself now, and I'm like, you keep making it. Like, you keep coming out of them. To me, it's so inspiring to think you keep coming out of them, Sophia. When you're in them, it feels like you're going to drown, but you keep coming out of them. Like, if you think about that, when the next hard time comes, it'll be less stressful,
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for me. But don't judge me. Yeah, I'm coming from straight country.
No judgment, my darling. Right? None at all.
Those
Embracing
listening,
it.
don't judge me.
And you said the right thing. So, because that's where I learned about the next day and hope and like being inspired by new. Because every time I worry and fret over something, kill up myself. How this going to do? How this going to work out? Da, 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 da. What's going to happen? Every time I realize that life keeps moving. And it's the same life that keeps moving when, like we have trauma and we want to stop. And it seems so rough that it keeps moving. And it's the same life that when you need it to move, it's moving. It's the same life that just keeps moving regardless. So even when like I'm in really bad circumstances, I'm always reminding myself, well, Shar, you've been in a bad place before. Like time just gonna keep going and you're gonna catch up eventually. It's gonna pass you now. Everybody's past, but yeah.
That's true. I agree with that. 100%.
100%. He'll preach the sermon and he loves to say it all the time. He was like, why do you think a lot of the stories that Jesus telling the story always start with, and it came to pass? He was like, just keep thinking about that. It came, but it didn't came to stay. It came to pass. So it's going to pass, but it's going to come. Like you can't stop it from coming, right? Because what would life be if these things weren't happening? Right. But if we just keep in our head, like, all right, they're here, but they will pass, I think it will make it so much easier to transition through our rough times that we have in our lives. So thank you, ladies, for sharing that. That really
a good point.
Brought back some good memories in my life.
Girl, it's still hot.
Right? Talking about heights of hotness. Child, please. Listen.
Step out, wifey. Step out.
Listen.
You can't nut up yourself. Me still hot. You can't.
Back then, maybe I wouldn't have been my friends. I don't think you understand.
Okay.
Okay.
We're not hot enough? Is that what you're saying? I know I'm silly, so I don't know if you want to hang out with me.
Running with a different crew.
Oh, care with myself. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Anyways, so ladies, what do you want people to feel when they're around you?
Boy.
When people are in your presence, like, what do you want them to feel? How do you want them to feel?
Inspired.
Let's go to Carrie.
What'd you say, me?
Inspired.
Yes. I want people to feel calm around me. I want people to feel a sense of ease. I think ease is important to me, like having just a sense of calmness and peace in my space. So that's the type of environment I like to cultivate for others when I'm sharing my space with other people. Now, unless we're having a house party and it's just going to be popping because
and we know that from experience. Okay?
There's a time and place for all things. But for the most part, I want it to be quiet.
Done. Done completely. What about you, Mish? Oh, you said inspired. Sorry.
Well, inspired only because we were talking about that. But I mean, now that I really think about it, I think I want people to feel accepted, not judged or feel like they're less than. I've been in circles where I do not feel like I belong there for many reasons. And I feel like I want people to feel comfortable and can be themselves without judgment. That's not to say I ain't judging you now. But
God.
As long as they feel like they're not being judged.
That is correct.
Gotcha.
I'm just kidding.
I'm setting the table.
It's hard for me to judge people unless you like whatever. But seriously, I mean, I just know that I don't like that feeling of just, this is not my, and everybody's not for you, obviously. I'm not, everybody is not for you, but I don't want people to be around me and say, man, when I'm around that person, I feel less than, or I can't be myself, or I feel judged, or any of those things. Just they can be themselves and be okay with that.
That makes
Fair
sense.
Enough. Shar?
I think it's pretty much the same thing Misha just said. Just be yourself. Because so I have this thing that I keep saying. I say it all the time. Authenticity. Authentic. I love to preach on that because there's nothing more comfortable than just being yourself. And so I try to see people where they are and accept. Honestly, that's my thing in life. I want to just be, if I can see you and just accept you, and then that's enough, like without too much explanations or whatever. And I don't mean like if you have teeth, I mean your personality and
I'm about to
character.
say, I'm like, sometimes.
I don't mean that. I mean my friends who I love and trust, who are all very different from me.
The teeth
I
can
don't
come
want-
around me. I won't judge them.
I mean, my friends who I love and trust, and they're very different from me. All I want to do is know them and accept that. You know, like I am the weirdest. I am very comfortable chilling with my friend. This is a chill space. We can go idle if it's an idle space. Like I just want everyone to just be themselves and be okay with that. That's really just it. Like I want to be on and popping with Carrie. Okay.
Okay.
And I
With
will help
Carrie.
Misha judge a few people. Okay.
On the low, we're not telling them we judge. What's wrong with you? We gotta put you up on this judgment game. It's gotta be silent judgment.
But I just like to enjoy people just as they are, but not every people. Sorry, guys. Just
Because
like
you
Misha
are
said,
not for
everybody is
everybody.
for you,
Yeah.
right.
And
It's
true
just
because-
my people. Like they're my tribe. And so yes, you will see them act a way and Sharifa accepts them and I won't accept X person over there that acts the same way. That's because this person here is my
Yeah.
person. And
Right.
that's just the way it is. They're not perfect, but they're mine.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I feel about people in my space.
That's funny. Mish, you said it. Not everybody is for you. You know, I had the same conversation with myself this week because I'm like, okay, listen, people, world, whoever's listening, I'm not
I'm
perfect,
sorry,
right?
I'm giggling. She had a whole conversation with her.
A whole conversation with myself,
Yes.
right? I'm not perfect, right? But I was like, and if I'm wrong, y'all feel free to correct me. I was like, my girls like me. They love me. Like they accept me for my flaws.
Just the way you are.
There you go.
Sophie is right outside.
Listen.
That's my girl. That's my Sophie.
Listen, but I was like, there's some other people that I know that if they were given the opportunity, you know, they may take me out. And I'm like, dang, Sophia, like, how is it that not everybody, well, Misha, you're right. Not everybody is for everybody,
That's
right?
right.
That's
And
it.
it is what it is. So
Yep.
in my company, I guess I would just say, I would just like people to feel comfortable, right? To just be yourself. And if you're not the self that I want to be around, then I'll just take for myself. But
Right.
as long as you're comfortable being yourself, then you know it's you. I
Right.
can't tell you who to be, and I don't want you to fake to be someone that you think I want you to be,
Right.
because at the end of the day, you know, authenticity.
You do not want nobody around you. You trying to second guess. Like,
Yeah,
ma'am, it's okay.
I agree. My mom said this to me the other day. She was like, listen, it's best you know who will stab you in the back than the ones who pretend that you are best friends and still stabbing you in the back.
That's
So I'm
right.
like, listen, you love me? Great. You don't? It's fine too.
Right.
I got
It's true.
people who love me and I know they do. So it is what it is. But ladies,
I
you guys
agree.
did great. And we've come to our last question. And I wasn't going to do it, but I actually really want to hear the answer. So
Oh,
I'm going to do it. So here we
You
go.
start. You start.
She don't
Uh,
stop none of
See,
them.
the good
Thank
thing
you.
is,
Thank
when
you.
you are moderating,
okay.
you get to moderate. Okay? So
Oh
The
gosh.
question
She
is-
pulled the moderator card.
Oh gosh.
so our
You answer
question,
first,
our
Misha.
final question is, in a relationship,
Oh my.
what is important for others to know about you? And this can be any relationship, whether it be with your family, your friends, work, Any relationship, what's that one thing you want people to know about you? Let's go to Misha.
You already knew it was coming, okay? You already
Volunteer
knew
people.
it was coming.
Ah, boy, I am judging you right now.
I'm calling out from the next one that you're moderator. I'm just going to take the day. I take the day off.
Oh gosh.
Terrible.
It's rough out here.
I want people
Rough.
to know that I am picking new friends.
Too late. Too late.
Basically.
I'm just gonna have extra friends
Way too
because
late.
Way too
Um,
late.
I kind of want to see everybody's answers because usually, I mean, I have an answer in my head, but usually you guys like inspire my answers. So I think my answer right now would be that I kind of want people to know that I am in therapy and I am not crazy.
That's fair.
No, this is serious. I
Yeah.
mean, I am working on myself. Is that maybe that's what I should say.
yes, that's
I am
beautiful.
working
Yep.
on myself.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing else.
Good. And that's nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. What about you, Carrie?
What I want people to know. I want people to know that I like deep conversations.
Mm.
I feel like I feel glorious when I'm having a deep conversation with someone because it allows me to really understand who they are. And they get to see who I am in a, less surface way. Because if you want to have a surface conversation, it's like somebody in passing at Wawa. How you doing? You good? Okay, have a good day. Like it's very
Did you just say
surface.
Wawa?
Wow.
I said
wow.
Wawa.
She's
Wawa.
from New Jersey.
Wow. Wow.
It's not
I've
just
been going
New
to
Jersey,
Wawa.
ma'am. You got to be in a specific part of New Jersey to get
No,
to
Wawa's in North
Wawa.
Jersey now.
Girl,
They
no.
have them in North Jersey.
Oh,
Yes.
Wawa has expanded.
I mean, it's not
Yes,
close
ma'am.
to me,
Yeah,
but we
Carrie,
have
there's a North
Wawa.
Jersey around the corner from us, right, Carrie?
It's
Or
one around the
Wawa?
corner.
Yeah.
My
They didn't
bad.
get
My
up
bad.
here yet, but they're close enough.
Okay.
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
Wawa's expanding. But I like deep conversations, and I don't want to be judged for that. I don't want people to feel like it's a heavy conversation because deep doesn't always mean heavy. But I want to know more than your favorite color. I feel like if I'm around you enough, I know what your favorite color is because I see you wear it all the time, or you talk. You know what I mean? If you really listen and observe people, you get to know some information. But if you're having a deep conversation, it feels rich. It's like you're just in a luxurious space of like,
Okay,
okay,
Wow.
okay.
A
So,
luxurious space.
it feels luxurious to me to have deep conversations.
Well, at least let me know why she don't talk to me. Okay. Sorry. I'm the Wawa, I guess. I'm like, Wawa, hey, how you doing? I'm good. All right, cool.
Yeah, true.
I'm joking, guys. If you're out there listening, it's a joke, okay?
Oh God.
What about you,
God.
Shar?
Yeah, that's silly.
I always want people to know that I am a lot of things. Like I feel like people think I'm this thing or I'm that thing because I can be really studious. It doesn't mean I'm only studious. Just because I love soca, it doesn't mean I'm only soca. Just because I like this, like I just want people to know I'm a lot of things.
Layered.
I
said you're
Yes.
layered.
I'm layered. That's
Mhm.
it. Like there's so much to me, and I just want people to recognize that
Yeah.
you might not see all of me at once, but there's a lot to who I am.
Right.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sitting here listening to you guys, and even with the question, I was thinking about it. And I think if I if there's one thing I would like people to truly know about me, and I'm gonna go back piggyback off what um I've been told over the years by people who don't know me. If there's one thing I want people to know about me, is that I'm a simple chick. I really am a simple chick. I don't know. Every time people see me, they think I'm this uppity, um, just in the heels and can't cook and can't clean type of girl. No, you know what I realized during this COVID? The thing that gives me most joy is to cook, like come up with some strange meal that I had never tried before and have it tasting amazing, and to change the linens in my house.
Wow.
I
You are
listen,
domesticated.
There's
listen.
nothing that gives you joy like a fresh bed linens, though, you know.
No, that junk is
Sharifa,
awesome.
let me tell
When
you,
you
I
lay
was
down in a bed
oh,
into something that's new
Listen,
and smell like
when I
flowers.
do about to change my sheet, I'll cast a
Hilarious.
let me tell
bead
you.
and body scrub one and just, you know,
Let me tell you, I never realized, and I think it's because I've never truly taken the time to appreciate these things before, right? Because life has always been like this for me, bam, 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 bam. But being COVID, with COVID and
Yeah.
things, everything has slowed down so much. I'm really taking the time to appreciate things and not just
Yeah.
rushing through them. And let me tell you, just changing the linen in my house, I just stand in the doorway and I just look at the freshly spread bed, and I'm like, oh. And even after taking a shower, I don't want to go lay on it. I'm like,
I thought you were about to say,
pulling out.
nobody go in this bed.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody go
I'm
in
like,
the bed.
I'm like yelling at Elizabeth because she can climb up and off the guest bed, and we don't have any guests, but she thinks it's her bed. And every time she waits until I make the bed, that she's like jumping upon it. I'm like, what are you doing? But to be honest, though, that's the one thing I would love people to know about me. I am really just a simple chick. I'm just a simple girl that's just like being home with her family and just taking care of them. I'm not all heels and whatever else people say to me. Whenever we go out, people be like, "Oh, you can't cook. You can't cook." Yeah, excuse me. Actually, sir or ma'am, I'm
It's
actually
your
very good at it.
specialty.
Very good at it, you know. But yeah, that's the one thing I think I would love people to know about me. But ladies, listen, man, you guys did great. These questions were great. Your
This
answers
is
were
fun.
great, and I really hope our listening
Yep.
audience will truly appreciate and will truly enjoy them. And we encourage you, take some times with some time with your girlfriends or your friends or your family, whoever. Ask these questions. It's good to get to know, you know, each other on different levels and have deep conversation, as
You
Carrie
gotta get deep.
coined.
We got time to get deep. We ain't got nothing but time.
But
So
we're
funny.
gonna use that last question as our sum up, since it really did talk about us and our individual what we'll like about each other. But we're going to use that as a summary for this episode. We do want to thank each and every one who will be checking us out. We want to thank you in advance, and we just hope that again you'll take some time with your family to do the same thing.
Yes.
Ladies, do you want to say anything before we say bye bye?
No, this was fun. This was a light episode.
Just randomly inspired, guys, as I was watching all the beautiful faces on my screen, and I think about how very grateful we always are for our listeners. I was inspired to say thank you, ladies, for showing up every time. I just enjoy
I agree.
my conversations with you guys, and sometimes I'm so busy, then I stop and I have this moment with you guys, and it's just
Refreshing.
so good. And it's refreshing, and I just was like, you know what? We've been doing this for a year and a little bit now. And just thank you guys. We're always here. And no matter how we enter this space, we're always here. And it's just great. So
I agree.
I just wanted to share that.
Very
And
true.
no matter
Ditto.
how we enter the space,
Mercy.
the time we're leaving, it's always a whole
It's always so good because sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes we come in this space and we just like eating really quick, or we run in this place and we fly through the door, and then we just sit, and it's just really nice to have this space every time with you guys.
I agree.
I agree. Completely agree. Okay, world, we thank you guys for checking us out. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.